Yeah, she's
nice.
dead, man.
That's ill.
Uh-huh.
I like her little horns. Oh, she's really cute.
I'm all right with it.
Yeah. Oh, I like that outfit. That's cool.
This bitch is crazy. Fucking love her.
Oh, they should have shot that with a better camera. When you do those zooms. It's like they use 1080p to do.
So, Cliff went to go see her live, and he said it was the craziest shit that he's ever seen.
Dude, it looks, she's got some really cool, crazy, crazy energy. I like it.
She literally walked out on stage with heels and just a bra and underwear, and she was fucking crazy.
I can dig that. Hey, make sure you're talking
in here.
Yeah,
right here,
directly in.
That's right.
Okay.
All right. This is the Jake Podcast. JakePodcast.com. Bachelor Pad Radio. Facebook Live. Everyone gets to look at Matt on Facebook.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, I count the hours until I can stare at the shine coming off the top of that skull, buddy. All right, so we've got a full house today. We've got Nick, we've got Matt, and
Jordan.
And Jordan just tipped us to. I tried to go dirt nasty. She trumped my dirt nasty with
Rico Nasty.
With Rico Nasty.
Yeah, Rico Nasty. It's a different kind of nasty.
No, that's wonderful. Which is my general likey in ladies anyway. So that is perfect.
Just pure nastiness.
No, I actually like them nice and sweet and whatever, or at least pretend to be, so I can be really nice to you. But her actual physical look and appearance, yes, that is perfect.
Yeah, no, she's sick.
Yeah, that is really, really neat. So now I'm gonna have somebody completely else to secretly creep on and listen to, because I will pick. And I like clown rap, right? That's why Dirt Nasty. And, it was kind of funny. You mentioned the dude's name is really Simon Rex. He used to be like a video host on MTV back in the day.
Yeah.
So he was, whatever video show shenanigans. But he was there. And then he was on Scary Movie 2 or Scary Movie 3. He was in those movies. And then, that was kind of it. Like, the 15 minutes of fame was over.
Yeah.
And then went crazy with the Vine.
Yeah. Vine made a lot of people.
The dude with the horrible video that you were freaking out. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
With all the.
What is this?
It looked just like him. I was like, what the fuck? That's crazy.
Yeah. And he teams up their collabo group is Andy Milonakis, him, and Riff Raff.
No way.
It's called Three Loco.
People
so
that
this
just
is
fell
good.
off
This
the
is
face of the earth.
This is sharing, but the music is kind of good.
Yeah, no, it's good.
They did the We Are Farmers, which is using the farmers insurance, boom, boom, we are farmers, but they turn it into a hook, and they talk about, the song is all about them growing weed and doing whatever, and it's stupid. The video is classic. So this is sharing. You hooked me up with this lady, and you get to now go, oh. And some of the stuff is pretty, it's stupid and clown rap or whatever, but it's awesome.
I never watched one of her music videos before, but look at her hair. I can't get over this shit.
No, she is a nice lady. She looks really nice to me.
She's very gorgeous. It's kind of infatuating.
No, it really is. That's cool at a limited thing until you decide to oh cool, yeah, you can move in with me, and then she's doing that shit or stuff. Yeah, we're gonna try and cuss a little bit less because we are crazy live. But she yeah, doing that, I just come home and I'm trying to use the restroom and she's in there screaming at the mirror and, bouncing around and stuff. It's like having my dog, but only in cool lady form, bouncing around, acting nuts. It's my dog, I get it. You're a dog, but you're also a really smoking hot chick, and I guess you can wiggle around and stuff. You're fine. So how was the ride in today?
It's smooth, nice and easy.
Yeah. The guy who makes it 32 miles in 16 minutes everywhere he goes, because he comes from up 275,
Lake.
96. Yeah.
Wait, where are you from?
Wald Lake.
Okay,
Wald-
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
That's where
damn.
my
No,
cousins
don't
live.
let him fool you. He's from Redford.
He's
This
from
is Matt from Redford.
You know,
I've known this dude forever, and when we first met him, he was friends of friends. So we had our group of friends, these chicks that we were cool with, and we were trying to, one of our buddies knew him, so we kind of merged groups of friends, and then he was their friend. So of course nobody wants to it's like, hey, we're having a party, everyone's going back, everyone's welcome, no dudes, right? So he was the random other dude, and then he ended up being a pretty cool dude. We never asked his last name. He was Matt from Redford, and we didn't know anybody from Redford. We all grew up in Canton, so he was Matt from Redford. He was our one token dude from Redford.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt from Redford.
And there are
There's a whole big story behind the Matt from Redford, though.
and there are people that don't even know that his name is Matt. Like, there's AP has to think Matt from Redford.
Oh, because
he just calls you Redford.
I'll just turn the W on your sweater upside, or is that Jersey?
Wald Lake. That's what it is.
It's a wall.
No.
Everything Wald Lake.
Turn that upside
down for Matt.
It's
Yep.
you just put the patch on backwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It'd be like a weird crisscross thing, only
Right.
instead of backwards, inside out or upside down.
Upside down.
That's it.
So cool. So good job on bringing a lady around.
Yeah, I had to carry my weight here a little bit.
Yeah.
And just invite another voice that's not going to be too boring.
No, that's good. You were anything but boring during the beginning phase of the pre-podcast.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. No, it's good. So all right. Well, do we need to do any get to know, or do you want to jump right into the Okay, no, before we do, let's get a little, because this is how my morning started. I wake up, I have my coffee, and the Senate committee hearing is like grilling Jeff Sessions today, right? The little elf dude, the whatever Trump appointee or whatever. So I get this, and it's driving me nuts, right? Because I pay attention to politics and enough of what's going on in this world, right? I hate it, and I hate that we kind of have to, but it's really, really absurd that I'm watching all these senators, and they're all like 72 or 68. And it dawned on me in the middle of watching this, I went, we really have like our grandparents creating laws, and basically it's a representative government.
Right.
We keep voting these people in, but there's only such a small section of people that vote in the midterm elections, that vote for your senators and vote for
Right.
For everyone. And nobody goes out to vote. I mean, it's ridiculous. And of course, all the things with all the, the Second Amendment, country and flag and all these people that they're, freedom and America and all this. But I'm like, you don't even know who your representative in the House of Representatives.
Yeah.
You don't know who your congressperson is. You don't know who your senator is. Do you know their voting record on anything, right? You've got somebody in there and you're like, yeah, America, government, whatever, but you're not partaking in the actual process of a democratic society.
It's not even just someone's grandparents at that point either. It's like someone's rich grandparent. It's
There you
like
go.
the wealthy
Oh, yeah.
grandparent that kind of has, money stocked away in some sort of offshore account. You really don't know nothing about them, and then they're making all the family rules.
Ah,
They're telling you what you can eat at the dinner table. No stuffing for Thanksgiving, Jordan.
that
Damn
is, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I have to, and I've come up with a half-cocked idea of what of what I'd like to do, which is maybe start a Facebook page for everyone that is in this voting area, right? That whoever, your area through gerrymandering and whatever, that everyone we vote for here, and then keep track of their voting record, right? To where you're holding some kind of an accountability to whoever your representative is. Because the great thing is you vote for them and they don't adhere to the, and
The standard.
Yeah, the standard
Yeah.
of what everyone in there, and you could
Yeah.
do the polls and all the stuff that's, all of the, that's going to be fun throughout the thing, right?
Oh my god. Okay. Perfect.
But yeah, and even if, like, because everyone will feel disenfranchised at one point where they sit and go, oh, well, dude, he's not voting the way I want him to, and I voted him in, so I'm going to vote him out, which is exactly how the process is supposed to go.
Right.
but it's a majority rule democratic
Yeah.
system. So if everyone in your group that is, in this area that is voting for your senator, your congressperson, whomever, if you're the 40% and the 60% is voting, the only thing you can do is get the other people up and around
Right.
that maybe feel the same way you do.
What are your thoughts on just every U.S. citizen is automatically registered to vote? Because I know a lot of people that did not make the time to go out and vote, and then when it came to the time to vote, they weren't registered and they just couldn't have a voice. I mean, I know it's their fault in the end.
It's like waking up and not having clean underwear too. Like,
Right.
whose fault
Yeah.
is it that you're free balling today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you didn't do your laundry. This is part of the, like, we can sit and go, oh, we've got all this freedom and we've got all these, all these rights, and this is the greatest country in the world, but you don't exercise your rights, so therefore you're not taking part in it. You shouldn't be allowed to say that.
You have no yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You've got
you
no
have
room to
no
complain.
no complain. No, don't even bitch.
But I think, I think it's almost like a we are our brother's keeper thing that we should. And that's kind of like, look, I really don't care. I go to work. I come here. I tell funny stories. I run around and try and be entertaining to people. Go home, play with my dogs, and find a random girl to wrestle. Or go to the landing strip, right? And throw her a couple bucks and go, can we wrestle, please? So that is my literal circle of life. The only thing I think I can do for the betterment of society as a whole is have these conversations. And dude, today was just nothing but this conversation. Granted, there were some dick and fart jokes somewhere in the mix, between there. But the majority of it was this. And I start asking weird questions like we do with Aaliyah on occasions. Asking them questions. What do you know? What do you not know? You have a magic, computer box in front of you. You have all the information at your fingertips. It's not like our grandparents or our parents that weren't in the information age. So they have kind of a, they get an asterisk for not knowing things and just going, well, that's what I believe. That's what I was told.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
We kind of don't. So the information is there. And, granted, some people have more free time than others, but, it pays to be a little bit smarter wandering the planet than not.
Yeah, there's a definite difference between like this generation and the older generation. The older generation, from what I've kind of like got to know of my family, is just kind of like they believe really everything that they see on TV.
Oh, yeah.
They don't even want to look up information. They don't even care. They're like, oh, this is America. This is great. Like, this is what I'm going to vote for. And so that's what they voted for.
There's a lot of biases in the news, of course. I think what's really mind blowing is that we live in a fake news era where this is now a term, right? And what the honest, actual reporters now have to do, instead of going out and finding honest news stories to report on, the good journalists now have to spend their time debunking these fake news stories.
But
it's
see,
a big circle.
But again, look at the root word, right? I hate to go back to like, ancient Greek and whatever when you look at how words, find their meaning, but journalist, right? That's what everyone got away from, that they weren't actually journalists. They were talking heads. It's the Ron Burgundy. Whatever you put up in front of the screen, go F yourself, San Diego, right? That you put it in front of the screen, that's what they're going to regurgitate. And it isn't like, the old Tom Brokaws or the old dudes that, that parents and grandparents would actually pay attention to, that they would sit there and they were giving them news. Like they did the research. They had verifiable data. And yes, I mean, you've got to be smarter, you've got to be smarter than that. And when I see something, I just look at headlines and then I do the research.
Right. Well, we have so many sources now, right? If you can, what the problem I think with my generation is we don't triangulate facts. We don't look for multiple sources of the same news. You know, we kind of get this, like, if BuzzFeed posts an article, we don't really tend to look at any other sources of news to see if that happens. If this station says this, that station says that, but this one says something completely different, and we are by design in like a cult following of that specific source, because that's just what's popular on social media. We will blindly ignore the other sources and focus on that. I think.
See, that's where ideas come from, right? Remember we talked about idea, like, cack and balls, right?
Right.
Where you can be all balls and whatever, you can be all cack, but you kind of need the cack and the balls to get the job done, right?
Yeah.
So if you're looking at it, like, think about that. Like right now, like everyone's like, oh, create an app or do this and that. How about create an actual factual news source that sources and does things and what, you know what I mean? The amount of advertising dollar that would go in there if you were known as, you know, an actual fact checking and gave good news and everyone tuned into your
like honest news,
like honest, like
televised,
and have
just real news.
Yeah, it's like going to, like, when you're reading a medical journal and then you cite the peer-reviewed science, and then you look at the scientist to see, is this some, you know, whack job who, you know, just, he's like, oh, dude, whatever, you know, is this some random science? But this dude's, you know, published in Harvard and Princeton and whatever. So he did peer-reviewed science, and then this guy, and then at that point you can go, yeah, I'm going to kind of take their word for it, right?
Right.
You know, the irony of that whole thing, though, is that's kind of the system that we intended the news to be built on, and then it kind of
greed got involved, money got involved.
Yeah, money.
What happened is with the booming of the way that technology has evolved, it's competition of attention, right? And things stopped becoming, hey, can we report the most honest news, but how can we get people to watch our news, listen to our news, read our news, as opposed to our competitors? And it became this weird, almost marketing campaign of news instead of actual honest facts.
There's literally, on Facebook, you can sign up to ntd.com or all these Facebook things, and you know what's fake and what's not fake. I mean, it's I don't even know why it comes up on my feed, but you can tell what's the truth. You know, you got to look. You got to, okay, CBS Sportsline. Okay, I'm gonna that's real. Or, you know, like the BBC. They were on there. Didn't they just get busted a year or so ago doing a fake protest? You know, they made. Did you see that on there where they made a fake protest to trump up some propaganda? And they got busted because they were taking pictures of them setting it up. So who was you going back to where you got to do the research? You got to find out if that's even a real story, because a well-known source, the BBC, still made a fake.
But see, I can't take that. I can't take that just as you saying that, whatever. Because the BBC, from all the credibility that I look at, you know, that I look at and have seen, the BBC is is an excellent source. You know,
who knows? Because maybe the source that I got that from wasn't even the BBC. So see, I'm saying it's so driven. You just got to stick to the main players.
At some point, though, this is what it's like when you realize, like, oh, I've got a good job or I've got a good life, but now I have to work a little bit harder to sustain that. And if knowledge is something that you want, or, you know, then yes, it is. It's, you know, you will have to double check that and source it. And some people just won't care, or they'll believe what they believe. Look, I can even say that I fall victim to it, because when I was on the when I was on the damn Yahoo, when I was on the Yahoo thing, like Yahoo, I don't understand how they still exist, other than they throw me live news, right? Like when I used to have to go to C-SPAN to watch a Senate hearing, right?
Did you just see the thing on the Yahoo about the North Korean guy? Said they were attacking Japan. The last missile launch was an actual missile supposed to be intended for Japan. That was on your Yahoo deal. I never heard of that. I never seen that. You know what I'm saying? So I know what you're saying about it's got to be just credible.
Yeah, and I mean Yahoo is great because it pops up whether I like it or not, and there's a little video playing, which kind of gets me, which is kind of why we're doing this live right now, because I went, I'll just go ahead and do it live, because some people are like, oh, it's live and there's a girl. We win, right? So you got to placate to some of that sometimes, but in the same token, it did, and it had me all day. I didn't watch regular news. I didn't watch anything else. I sat there having my coffee until my dogs just jacked with me enough to where I went, balls, I've been sitting here for like 2 hours and now I'm typing in, and I'm like, me and like 4 dudes, they're liking my stuff and I'm liking theirs, and dude, weird like bedfellows. I got some like super Arabic dude with like no whatever, but he liked when, you know, one of the guys who was like super Republican, and him and Jeff Sessions were all like this and, you know, kissy, and I'm like, balls, this is a Senate hearing. You've got to be tough and ask some tough questions. And 3/4 of the way, it was just patty cake, you know, wee, and Jeff Sessions, you're a great man. And then he went curveball and was like, look, regardless of what I believe and whether I like you or not, you are a flat out liar because you said this. And I was like, oh, you got him. And I was like, and then there was a curveball because everybody's just like, dude, are you kidding me? It's going to be a makeout session for the next 15 minutes with this and blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, the minute it happened, like I was just itching like to join in and go, but I was like, you guys are doing a good job of bitching right now, so I'll let you have it. And then I went, as soon as I heard it, I was like, and the curveball, and like everyone, ding, 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 and the little thumbs and whatever. I was like, oh, this is good. So it's like a video game for me while getting my knowledge. That's the only. That's the only thing Yahoo, goddammit.
So there's every time I watch a video like on Facebook or YouTube or any type of source, I literally check like 13 different background sources to make sure it's correct. Because I'm very political, so it's like whenever I post something of my knowledge, I want to make sure that I am correct, and I'm not just posting like crap on the internet, you know?
Yeah, you want to be able to refute a counter argument.
Yeah,
if someone
exactly.
and not look like a blind.
I
political
got
follower.
banned from Facebook for 3 days.
Did you really? You've been in Facebook jail?
What did you do again? I remember you posted about that.
I've never been in Facebook jail.
I was standing up for Black Lives Matter. Okay, I was standing up for Black Lives Matter, and a whole bunch of angry, I'm assuming white people, did not like that I was doing that, and they reported me. So I got banned for 3 days.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah,
I believe I also said something about them being crackers and. But that is besides the point.
That's racist.
Well, when you fight fire with fire, Jordan, you end up in Facebook jail.
I end up in Facebook jail.
Yeah. Well, I've gotten into it with him, and not a particularly racist man, but he errs on the. And if this is the case, then you will know kind of the newfound, the exercising of white privilege with the that's cool, do whatever, just get it out of my face and whatever. It is one of the new terms of racism is white people being completely indifferent to the things that are going on to any minorities and whatever, right? And that isn't me. And he was like, dude, where'd you make that up? I was like, I didn't make that up. Dude, I have like a gazillion black friends. Like, you don't understand. I grew up multicultural. He knows all about it yesterday. My mom possibly had relations with a black man in a Greyhound bus when I was 4 years old. Although I did get a bus out of the deal.
You got a souvenir.
I got a souvenir bus out of the deal.
You got a bang souvenir.
So I got a trophy or whatever. I do recall her being missing after a while. The nice man bought me a bus. And they have little bathrooms in the Greyhound thing. My mom's a little person.
He had to help her go pee pee.
I guess it's funny the weird stuff you talk about and how like odd regression therapy comes out, because I haven't told that to anyone in a while. I mean, my life is an open book. I don't care.
Well, I started with, okay, so where have you lived again? And then it turned into all these weird stories about his mom's naked body in weird scenarios. And it was like, okay, cool. Well,
yeah. Mom got naked in front of friends.
Yeah.
No.
Mom tried to get her friend to take my virginity when I was, and it wasn't like I was 19 and I just couldn't get it done myself.
No, he was a child.
I was 15 and 3/4. Like they were planning my sweet 16, or not sweet 16, but my 16th birthday.
When he says 3/4, he really means he hadn't even dropped yet. You know?
No, they were dingleberries. So that's what you missed yesterday, sir. It was interesting.
Damn.
So it was a thing. It was a thing. Your phone do you want to read that article there?
Yeah. Well,
Sassy Voice?
Well, Sassy Voice. I'm not a very good reader, man.
Okay, I mean, I'll read. I don't care. Well, I just started closing stuff because the stream was saying was a little bit low.
So the article, the Ask Men article, right? That's what we're going off of. The things women don't tell their boyfriends about their relationships, and it's got a nice little list of subject heads. Did you have any specific ones you wanted to go off, or do you want to go in order, or did you want to?
The way it showed up on mine is as I began to read it, it gave me like a paragraph, and I'll just kind of go through the paragraph.
And a Reddit,
and then it was
Reddit
one,
thread.
And then you had to keep clicking right. I don't know if it's the same way on yours.
I don't know. These things are designed so weirdly for people on Facebook to go get sucked into these little portals where they have to keep clicking next to read.
Let me. I'll send it to you on
like
Facebook.
The ads that keep offering you money.
Yeah,
you
click and they're like, okay, click this next button, but you have to dodge a bullet around 3 ads, and you're gonna click the ads. You're gonna click the ads, but you can also kind of read a little bit of what we're saying. This one doesn't look that bad. This is an actual legitimate website, so. But there are pretty bad spammy ones. Those are just people making ad revenue off of blog pages and using key terms to suck people into their articles.
Okay. Well, here I'll
Okay.
I'll
Trying to read it.
Did you get it or no?
No, I'm searching.
Okay.
If it
I'm
wasn't right on
sending
top,
I'm sending it to you, big boy. I got you over there, W.
This is a good one. Personal grooming, right? So I guess women tend to not tell their boyfriends if they're way too hairy or gross or need to shower. Have you ever experienced this, Jordan?
You say that again.
Like,
The
what do you
lack-
mean?
saying
Like,
that?
Personal.
shaving legs?
This is on the article. Personal grooming. The Reddit thing says. Oh, actually, you know what? I think I read this wrong. This article says I really want him to shave my pubes.
Whoa.
So
that isn't the way I recall it starting though.
Is that
it
how-
didn't start that way. I kind of moved around.
You jumped right in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw shave my pubes and I kind of got sucked
He was
in.
like, I'm eyes focused right on
Okay.
shave my pubes.
That's right. which I think we all have a weird story in that. I just sent
That's
it
what
to you,
your
Maddie.
eyes are drawn to.
Okay. All right. So the article is things women tell their boyfriend or things women don't tell their boyfriends about their relationships. Okay. And there's, starting off from the very beginning, and this is askmen.com. They are a great source. And this was actually kind of a female side, right? So it's asking women. These are all women saying, and actual people that responded saying things that they didn't disclose at one point or another. So let me see.
You know what it is? I can't even see it on my phone. It doesn't come up. It doesn't come up to where I can read it. It's too far away.
Okay. All right.
You know
So
what I mean? You won't zoom in. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
there you go. All right. Well, you work on it over there.
You figure out the old
Go
phone thing.
All right. So number one was he's not the one. I know our relationship is temporary. We're both 19. We've been dating for 6 months. He's my first real boyfriend, and his first real girlfriend. I don't plan on staying with him for the rest of my life, and I don't think we should either. I want to explore more, meet new people. I don't want to tie myself down this early when I'm not even 100% happy. Not that I don't love my boyfriend. I just don't see us staying together forever. So that's one that I think every one of us can,
Oh God.
that we can all deal with at one point or another.
No, this is actually probably the most reoccurring theme I've ever heard in my life. This is the key component to why I don't stay in relationships, and it's never based off of rational thought. It's kind of just like, distraction, and maybe I'm not truly it's never like me trying to make anything work. I think it's me copping out of things.
And that is a very guy thing.
Yeah.
That is a very guy thing. Not to say it's not a girl thing also. There's girls that do it, but I think it is. If we were going to pick is it a guy or a girl, it would, if it was what is that, Family Feud or whatever? Steve Harvey does the new Family Feud, right? And it was how many men or women, whatever, it would be 51-49. So I think it's kind of split.
Yeah.
Let me tell you that this podcast is going to be the end of my relationship. All right.
Okay. Oh, welcome to. I lost mine a couple weeks ago too.
Oh man. So
Get it out.
dude.
I've come to terms with I don't really care. I'm just gonna say anything on here, and if
I'm-
anyone hears, then so be it.
Yeah, dude. Welcome to my life.
So
It's a good life.
who is this? Just like a random article you found, or
it's askmen.com, right?
Okay.
It's a lot like a Cosmo for dudes,
Right.
but we also it follows really good backstory stuff for when I was doing radio on 97.1, we would go to like Maxim. Maxim has an online thing, but I like Ask Men. They seem to be a little more current with,
Right.
obviously this was a good article. I did like 6 seconds I pulled up askmen.com. No. Oh, that one will be good. So it is an actual article. These articles and these, the things that I'm reading are actual women that had these issues. So,
Yeah.
and what we'll do is we'll do a roundtable. I'll read it off. Since you jumped in with, yep, that's me. I keep ruining relationships this way. Then it'll go to you. We'll go over to W, and then back to me.
I hate hurting people, dude. I don't want to hurt anyone,
Yeah,
but I got to.
go ahead.
I'm gonna be the biggest hypocrite and say that girl needs to just fucking let it go. Oops, pardon my language. Sorry.
It happens.
Yeah. So she probably just needs to like let it go. But I'm a hypocrite when it comes to that because I need to let my stuff go too. But I don't know how to do that. Because it's like you always keep going back to that person because they're like your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
That's who you like find yourself just so comfortable around. You can just be yourself. No makeup, no nothing. Like, you guys don't wear makeup unless you do. I don't know your lives.
I do. This isn't how I will. I didn't wake up like this.
I spent 3 hours before I came in today.
But yeah, so it's just like, I don't know. So I'll find myself going back to him just because he's just never going to hurt me and he's always going to be there. And we have a good time, but I know he's not the person for me.
Okay, so, and go ahead, go on with your bad self, ask men, because, they hit the nail on the head. And I think all of us have this one way or the other. Maddie, you're all like booed up and happy, and like he sits at home on Saturday drinking tea. I
don't particularly. I never really did. Never really. Just it's a waste of time. If I like you, I like you. If I don't, I don't. I'm not gonna just lead you on.
But if you don't mind me jumping in with you there, W, it's like I would love to have filet mignon every day,
sure.
Right? Like, dude, that is a dope cut of meat. I would love filet mignon, but every now and again you're driving and you're on your way to, coach football, sure. And you're going to you got to stop at McDonald's. You got to stop and do something. And I think relationships are very similar in that every now and again, like I would love to be in a great, functional, awesome relationship. But dude, this world, everyone, I may think I'm in one and then, no, I'm not. Or I may want to find that person. If I can't find that person or I'm busy and I happen to find somebody who fills in like Taco Bell, what are you going to do?
No filling in.
No filling in for you?
So are you a natural prone monogamist then? Do you get into situations and
he's in the witness protection program. Listen to this answer.
Some of the things I can't say.
Well,
I know this guy. No.
Well, so just off, not even just actions,
sure,
right? Sure. Just off of what's going through your mind in a committed relationship. Do you?
I have everything right in front of me, so I don't need to.
Okay.
Stray. I don't need to find new flavor because the flavor of the month is happening every second.
Well, how old are you?
45.
You're 45.
45, yeah.
Okay, so by the time
and it's
I'm
not an experience thing. It's not a
so you've
set in
always
my ways
been
thing.
like this your whole life.
Yeah, I'm not
You've
gonna.
Never had. To
I mean, I've been single and I've banged everything in sight, but
right. So you never had a girl that was just like, oh, I care about you, I want to be with you, but. And you're just like, I don't want to hurt her, but, maybe we could still kind of carry this thing out. And then you just ended up hurting her anyway.
It would just be booty calls.
So
it wouldn't be nothing.
You would only get
typical.
involved in a situation like that if you were 100% certain that you wanted to stay with them.
If I was going to be 100%, it'd be on. You know what I mean? It
yeah.
would, like right now, I'm just the happiest I've ever could be.
Perfect.
And no straying. No, I mean, seriously, I'm not playing. I'm being dead serious. I mean, the relationship that I have now is just it's ideal. I mean, there's it actually seems like it's actually, and you're gonna lie. It's and I'm a guy saying this, but every day is awesome. I mean, it almost feels like it's getting better as it goes on. It's been
and it's good. They are good. They are good together, right? I've seen them in good relationships. I've seen them in not so good relationships. This is a good one. So that is awesome. And this may be why it's my show and whatever, right? And my radio show was sex, dating, relationships. So again, like whether or not I was looking at, government or, civics or anything I was looking at and trying to find the answer for, I do the exact same thing when it comes to sex, dating, relationships or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So I had a radio show on this. So this is kind of my thing. Now, number one, to your side of it, there has to come a point, and it was funny because how the assertion he made a few minutes ago with, yep, I've kind of just like broken it down that I'm gonna live my life, I'm gonna say what I say, and I'm gonna do what I do, right? So with doing this, communication is the key, dude. I will date, like right now I can't find anyone suitable, and my life is weird. I'm choosing to sit and talk to y'all until like 11 o'clock tonight instead of going home and if I was dating someone, it would make no difference because I really enjoy this, right? I did it. I like, cross communication. I'm a communicator. I'm going to do this because I like it. Now, if I had a girlfriend, and this is what happens when I am dating someone with my, having businesses, and then, something will happen and my employee's not cutting the snuff, I'll come in. I don't have to be in these places, but it works better for customer relations. Mm-hmm. So with anyone that I have dated, I'm like, look, and they're generally younger. So first thing I say is, at first, because you're expecting wait a minute, I'm 22. How old are you? And whatever. And look, I'm not saying we're gonna be together forever. We're gonna get married or whatever. But what are you doing with your life right now? Right? You're not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. How about we not do stuff together?
Right.
We have fun. We keep it loose. On the off chance, if you decide, screw it, you're gonna wait for me to die and then, hopefully get an inheritance or, collect on the insurance money. Cool. I'm totally okay with that. I'll help. I'll pay for the policy, right? It's not cheap to date you guys as it is. So with doing that, I'm totally cool and upfront with it. And I think once you take that, you take it out, but there's also one of two people in a relationship who always digs the other one more, right?
Yeah.
So, and the second part of it is codependency, right? And women and guys, the new version of guys, like every young 20s, their codependency issues. You know what I get when I date a younger girl now is you're not going to get weird and freak out and start calling me
clingy,
30,
yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's what we used to ask girls back in the day. You're going to be cool, right?
It's a polarity shift.
No, dude, women are independent. They're just independent.
Yeah, there was an AF. There was an AF.
They are
coming.
independent AF now, and it's
really
almost
are.
frightening.
So, but it's also interesting because now all the things you used to have to worry about, are they going to be okay? Are they going to hate me? What if this does? But the number one thing is communication. Right? I get it out there right off the rip. Dude, you do know I have another thing too. I have absolutely nothing to offer you, right? Other than some good times, some drinks,
right?
And woo. And on the off chance that it goes somewhere else, that will be a building phase because I'm really way too busy. If the one before the last one who doesn't like dogs, she worked a normal job. She got off at 4 or 5 o'clock, in the afternoon. I go into work at 4 or 5 in the afternoon. I get out at 9. It was cool for a while because, we'd wait, and I'd hurry up and go over there after work and cool.
Right.
She'd have to go to sleep. I'm really not that tired. I'd either crash there or go home. But then it began to wear on her. I got home. I went to the gym. I did this and that. I'm bored.
Right.
I'm just sitting here and whatever. Why are we even dating if we're doing this? And I was like, whoa.
And do your own thing.
Exactly. You don't have friends.
Yeah.
So there's a codependency angle. But I think if there's anything we can take off this first one, communication. When you start dating someone, get the weird, awkward, look, dude, I've got to. And if you start out, even if you're not, right? You go back to Hitch and every girl says, I don't have time for a relationship right now. Dude, that's a great way to start. I really don't have time for all this. So we're only going to segment this. And if we both really dig each other, then we'll make time.
Right. And
then it can grow. But if you start off with, look, man, I'm not looking for anything, serious. Let's fist bump and have a good time. Cool. I'm a dude. I'll do dude stuff. I'll buy you stuff and we'll go do fun stuff and whatever because that's kind of our job, right? And if you're dating a guy who can't do that, he doesn't have enough money to do it, so you shouldn't be with him anyways, right? So it does kind of factor a lot of things out of the way in the beginning, versus getting with someone and all you do is just sit and chill all the time.
Right.
Dude, that's great. That's playing right into our hand. Dude, I'd never leave the house.
An issue that I've encountered sometimes is I tend to reorganize my life, get myself into new things like a habit, all the time. And I can get into a relationship and the window in which we are doing things and everything's cool might actually slow down because I decide to go do this, just for instance doing this show, right? So if everything is cool and we have this window of time and I decide, okay, I want to go do this now, and then now that window of time is gone, I don't really understand fully yet how to bounce that back and still make something like that work when I want it to work. But I can't throw away things in my life that matter for someone that I'm not 100% sure I'm gonna be with in the long run anyways. And I always make that clear because sometimes you'll get women that will say, you made all this time for me then, and now it seems like I'm just this backdrop to you and you're not really making time for me anymore. And it's well, here's the thing, you're always going to be number 2 to any dream, career, or anything that I want to do professionally in my life. in general, right? So
And I don't really like you that much.
yeah, and maybe you're not even that cool.
Yeah.
And so I get like this anxiety about the flack that I'll get about doing things and losing that window of time with them. And so I just tell people straight up, like, hey, if I cancel stuff or things, the windows of time that we can hang out get smaller, I'm sorry, and there's nothing I can do for you.
You know how people say like opposites attract? Okay, I think that's all baloney. All right. So I feel like you should be with somebody who does things like you, who is attracted to the same things that you're attracted to, like who is ambitious the way that you're ambitious, and you that you guys can do things together and you guys aren't always separated. And it's cool that you guys have your time apart, because obviously you're not going to be 100% alike, but you need somebody who's going to get the way that you are as a person and is not going to be, you know, oh, like you said, like, oh, you know, my career is going to come first. They're going to be like, hell yeah, put your career first, you know?
Because then that person perfectly complements the life that you're. It's like a career spouse, right? It's someone that's.
It's like a business partner.
Yeah,
you have sex with.
And I have a friend, and his mom got remarried to a guy, and they started a business together, and they were very successful. And, you know, they spent their time doing their business stuff together, and then they went home and had some cognac and relaxed, and that was perfect. And that's kind of what I, you know, envision myself ending up in, because it gets boring when you can't just run your mouth about something that you love with someone and they just totally can't even reciprocate or understand.
But and there are psychological indicators with people like that, because I, you know, being in the business world, even, you know, my business partner, I've seen, you know, couples that, you know, started a business together, quit job A, quit job B, did whatever, ended up hating each other and getting a divorce, right? So it can, a lot of it comes down to the, you know, to the personal psychology of the individual. And there's a ton of them, that business dude who works, and dude, he works crazy long hours and whatever, and she does her own thing, right? And he comes home, you know, cook food, she's there to rub his back, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, granted, he's making, you know, $200,000 a year. Yeah. So cool, you got me in a good house. So there's also, you know, economics that go along with it also. Dude, if my chick went and made $200,000 a year and all I had to do was like a fun job, like I could play with dogs all day, like I was a dog walker, dude, I'd work out all day long. I'd be in a thong, you know, I'd be in a banana hammock, like, you know.
Oh yeah.
So it does play. And see, that's where your own personal psychology, because it sounds good to you. And the great thing about everything is go out and try that.
Yeah.
But you very rarely find two high-end executives, and, you know, even in Hollywood, you'll see Hollywood dude dating a waitress or dating a hairstylist, or when you see marriages that actually work, it's not two of them doing the same thing with the same amount of fame. So, and then every now and again you will. Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, they are my perfect couple, because they never got married either, right? Because I'm kind of against it. I tried it once. I made it for 6 months. I was with the girl when we were dating and just keeping it loose and high five and let's go to the bar and whatever. Then when it got serious and whatever, we never really talked about that, and we had two completely different ideals. And within 6 months, I was like, dude, you go to happy hour and get drunk on a Tuesday. My mom was an alcoholic. Go figure. Yeah. Listen to last night's podcast. So, you know, when there were all those things, that wasn't what I wanted when I was married. I still wanted to go do stuff, but I worked at Ford Motor Company. I worked at Ford Motor Company. I was making $85,000 a year. Come home, cut the grass, take my dogs for a walk, go to the gym, you know, have dinner, have sex before dinner, after dinner, and first thing in the morning. Like, that was the only part she was really cool at, you know, and that's what kept me around for 6 years. Because, dude, she never said no. Like, I don't think I give her enough credit for that. Like, she even had the flu one day, and I went and got her a bunch of stuff, and okay, we'll go to bed. And this was the one time that we didn't, like, have sex either first thing in the morning and last thing at night, like, ever in 6 years. And she was like, well, you know, oh, no, go to bed. I was like, are you all right? How you feeling? And I was like, cool. And she went, what? You're not? And I was like, dude, you're like deathly ill and whatever. And she's like, yeah, but I know you like the sticky. And I went,
you like a box in my box.
Yeah. And I went, no, I mean, she reaches over and was like, that's not what and I was like, well, of course. It's kind of like muscle memory. I think he's just like, ooh. yep, it's about 10:30 at night. Time to knock that thing out, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I gave her a pass, or I may have done it. I don't remember, but okay. So definitely some good talking points on there.
Of course.
The next thing, that women don't tell their boyfriends about in relationships, hating their friends at the beginning. I think they all make it abundantly clear as the relationship goes on. Okay, so I hate his best friend so much. I can never see myself getting along with his friend. I keep, hearing what a tough nut to crack, and maybe I'll need to reach out to his friend. Yet his friend somehow gets away with not making an effort with me, but I'm the one who will be punished if I can't make it work. Honestly, I've tried, but there's only so much I can do. That he has an a-hole for his best friend. Like, WTF am I supposed to do, right? Every one of us has had a female who didn't,
What if it's like your best friend's boyfriend? Does that count?
Oh, yeah.
Because, whenever I'm dating somebody, I always kind of dig the people that they're friends with. Or, whatever. Like, I always get along. We all become, like, a sort of, like, a little family type thing, I'm like, hey, what's up, Joe? Like, I walk into the house. But, so my best friend's now ex-boyfriend, or my ex-best friend and her ex-boyfriend, whatever, it doesn't matter. It is what it is. But he always hated me. And I never understood why, because she was the crazy wild one, and I was the one at home reading books and doing music. And I later found out that she was spewing little lies.
You were the scapegoat.
She was jealous of things about you, and she infiltrated her boyfriend's mind and, and made him kind of hate the parts that she didn't like about you.
Yeah, but I didn't understand. I just always thought he hated me for no reason. I'm like, geez.
So you've never had a boyfriend and his best friend was, for whatever reason, just a person you would never be friends with?
No.
You always got.
I would consider my best friend as my boyfriend, and so then I didn't like him. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That is a relationship. When people talk about male-female relationships, I'm like, okay, so relationships, and I can't understand why this doesn't work. And I was like, are you still best friends with the person you were in 8th grade? Like, people change. You know what I mean? Yeah. I thought my buddy and I in 8th grade were going to be the best friends forever. Okay, well, I'll just keep going back. 3rd grade, 5th grade. There's somebody you're not friends with now that you really thought you were at some point.
Yeah, I'm just tooting my own horn.
I know.
When I was dating my ex-fiance, when I was dating Adam, he had this guy named Nate that he lived with, and he lived with him for maybe a couple months, and things just changed. He started smoking, started drinking a little bit more, and I'm like, I don't like this Nate guy. I did not like him. I was like, this guy's a piece of work.
See, there it is. We knew it was in there somewhere.
No, I had to think. I had to think about that one.
Yeah, it's there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was so mad at him. I'm like, I don't want you living there anymore. He's like, do you want me to just be homeless? I'm like, yes.
Or the normal girl response is, you know what? Why don't we just get a place? Let me be an influence on you. If you're that easily influenced, let me hear and
let me fix you up real
That's right.
We were only 17 at the time. I was just like, whatever, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a very this is coming out, Jordan. This is coming out.
Get to know your new roommate or whatever. Yeah.
So me and Jordan, we haven't been friends for a very long time.
No, not at all. That's so weird. I feel like I've known you forever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've known you for a year.
So every girl that I've dated or seen or been in a relationship with, which in a year for me it can be a lot, every single girl has hated Jordan.
Who hates me?
Because every girl is.
I don't even know anybody you hang out with.
Okay, so here's the here's the sword. I mean, every girl sees, when we would do music together, we'd be hanging out. Every girl would be very intimidated by that. They'd be very intimidated by another pretty girl hanging out with their boyfriend.
She's not pretty. What is wrong? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, of course. Yeah. You should know that.
Well, yeah, but
that should be in the immediate, hey, and this is my friend.
But that's part of the deal with me is if you are uncomfortable with certain aspects of my life, I don't want that stress. I don't want you to be complaining to me all the time. And so I kind of started, this is kind of funny telling you this, I kind of started using you as a like
weird litmus test before.
Well, yeah, as like a requirement for people I talk to. Like if I'm talking to a girl and I'm like, hey, this is my friend Jordan, or like I'll send like a Snapchat
randomly.
Yeah.
Is that why you always flash me on Snapchat so you can show all these random girls, and if I have a problem with it, you just go, nah.
Kind of.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
The truth.
I'm just a prop.
No, you're not a prop. You're like a nice firewall for crazy women, and it works.
Thanks. You know what?
Because I love you.
I'll
You're like one of my best friends. But if another girl was interested in me and said, "Hey, I don't want you being friends with this person," well,
Yeah,
then
I
I
don't
want
get that.
nothing to do with you. I don't want anything to do with you.
And
Yeah.
that's something that some girls never ever get over.
I don't
Right.
get females.
And
I
there's-
really, really don't.
And there's dudes. I've got the pretty blonde lady friend of mine that comes in here all the time. She, oh my God, he doesn't want me being, she was dating this big steroided up guy who we all knew. And I was like, dude, he's like a super roid mongrel, right? And I'm like, the fact that he's a handsome dude. And the fact that he, either married and divorced and like can't hold a girlfriend, I was like, there's something in there, right? Like, just wait and see. Like, I called it ahead of time. I was like, yeah, he's probably still stuck in high school or early, 20s. Like, well, I don't want you having any guy friends. And who are you talking to? He had a problem with her coming in here.
Oh God.
And I'm like, dude, I'm just a friendly vape guy. You know what I mean? I was like,
Just your neighborhood vape guy.
That's
Yeah,
it.
That's me, Jake. Boopity boop. I'll do a little dance and sell you some juice.
that's right. I'll make your time, entertaining while you're here, and then beat it. Yeah. So, what about you, big guy? Have you had to? Matt has a weird, uncanny way of things not ever applying to him.
He's got a very high standard, it seems, to his life that
Sure.
I just don't understand.
There's, I've had girlfriends or girls that are friends that my half was kind of like, hey, she dealt with them, and the same thing with her. She had a lot of guy friends.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things you got to cope with, and it's not like it doesn't piss me off because I know at the end of the day, it's me and her.
Well, did she get jealous, or did she just poke little questions here and there, like, "Hey, what about?" her?
There was probably some jealousy in the beginning, but
Yeah.
once you've established that we're for real and it's not games, then whatever. Let's move it
See,
on.
I have the opposite problem. All of my friends are dudes. So anybody who I date,
Yeah.
they're immediately like, "Who's this guy?
You just got to
Who's
establish
that guy?
that. If
Weren't
you're the
just
guy,
hanging
you
out
just
with
got
a
to
different guy last
establish
week?"
what's
They
off.
just want to know, and I'm just like, "It's
Well,
chill."
see,
Like,
I made it
it's all
perfectly
good.
clear. I'm the boyfriend, and
Right.
so maybe stuff that you would say to her doesn't apply now. Innuendos, whatever. I'd have to establish that, which I did.
Right. Yeah.
But I wasn't jealous. I just had to establish ground rules.
And I
Yeah.
do have a CPO.
Yeah.
That thing. It's like your dad with the, y'all have a great time at prom while you're cleaning your gun. So
What are you engraving on that bullet?
Throwing
Your
a-
name?
Throwing a shotgun shell. It comes a lot faster coming out of this barrel over here.
Right. Why is my name on that?
You're gonna find out, little boy.
Right. Exactly.
You're gonna find out real soon.
and the cornerstone of this, right? This is where Jakey's pet project of studying psychology, right? Which I think school systems, instead of the War of 1812 and whatever, I think we could cliff note some of that, right? We can easily skim over some things and focus. The majority of things that people have problems with in their life are relationship issues. When somebody gets divorced, a guy not being able to get over the fact that she has a guy friend, right? Insecurities. And these are all introspective psychology issues.
First world problems that come up when you don't have any other bigger issues to deal with,
No,
right?
and your
Right.
second and third world too. I mean, they have laws. I mean, you go back to religion, and
you're right.
you've got your
Oh,
wife in
yeah.
a
Cheated
beekeeper
on them.
suit.
They behead him in the street.
Yeah, or you put your your wife completely,
Wrapped up.
They've gone as far as that. Like, I don't even want another person to see you. And eyes are an attractive thing sometimes. All right, you leave those out. You can tell a lot from a person from their eyes. But so these things, I think it's a great thing to self-study, like, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, the funny thing about therapy is they'll put you on a couch, and we had this talk, they'll put you on a couch and they ask you a bunch of questions, and then you answer the questions and they go, and
Yeah.
and then you kind of get some insight on yourself. So the, self-help used to be a funny thing, But if you're reading books on your own interpersonal psychology and interpersonal communication and these things, if you realize that you've got a hang up with this, it's your hang up.
Yeah.
It's not this.
Yeah.
If that person's going to cheat on you or they're going to do something, they're going to do it.
They're going to do it no matter what.
It's not, no matter how much you just try and jump out and like smack penises out of the air. Like, it's almost like you're playing Asteroids, the old video game, like with a joystick, like,
or Pong.
Oh no. And that one penis, like we could do a, you have codependency and interpersonal problems. Instead of the little things coming down on Galaga, they're penises, right? And there's your chick down there, like, don't let any of the penises.
We can go millipede or centipede also.
That's true.
Wi-Fi password.
I have no idea. And I'm not going to say it on this because then 50 million people will be on the thing.
And then we immediately get taken over by North Koreans in the middle of a podcast.
He wants to continue watching. That's
fine. Yeah, you're here, though. Yeah.
But speaking about the different religion, like relationship-wise, like my stepmom got shipped back to Lebanon by her own parents because she had a boyfriend before she was married.
Like, but see, the Lebanese.
Can you hear me?
The Lebanese community. My family's, Lebanese through marriage, right? So my uncle married my aunt, or he married my aunt when I was like 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah, what side is that? What side of your family is that again? You had
It's the Irish side. So my cousins are Irish and Lebanese.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
wow.
And it's weird because the more, and I worked in the beverage business for years also, right? We can always get into one of these days how many jobs has Jacob had in his life, right? How many places have you lived? But I was in the beverage business, right? So it's weird the amount of people that are Lebanese and that I deal with, and obviously Iraqi and Chaldeans and Muslim and whatever. And my family was Muslim. A little less practicing, at least my uncle.
At least that you knew of.
Well, no, at least my uncle, but it was completely fine. There were none of the social stereotypes that went around, and they grew up in the South End of Dearborn, right at Dixon, Wyoming, by the mobile station. That
I know a lot of amazing Lebanese people. I know a lot of great Chaldean people, and I know Chaldeans are Christian.
It's the best sex I ever had. Lebanese.
Yeah.
But they're great people. Just because they have a different faith than you doesn't mean anything. Because my little sister and my brother, they're half Lebanese and they're half Mexican. And so my dad is Christian and my stepmom is Lebanese. So I always grew up my whole entire life with so many different cultures.
Yeah, you're multicultural in the house, which helps for tolerance and whatever, right? Because you're getting an inside view, which I got it through my aunt. Like, thanks, Auntie, right? And but it is kind of a trip when it comes to that, because it really boils down to psychology, and and now the round table is over to me. And believe me, I was classic football player, athlete, whatever, and stay away from my girlfriend, and this and this, and leather jacket, and try to be, and it was warding off other dudes. And I used to, and it wasn't until like my early 20s that something in my head went, well, or it could have been the LSD, because I did have an acid trip that really changed me or whatever, which was, mind expansion. Timothy Leary, he was onto something, because I woke up the next day and went, wow, you know what? Why am my girlfriend at the time was like, why don't you love me? And I cared way too much about what everybody else thought. And I had girls that I were friends with who were like, dude, she's not a good girl, or she's slutty, or she's this, or she's that. And I would listen to them, and then those little voices would, and anytime she'd do something or something, even remotely unsavory, because I grew up on the wrong side of the tracks in a nice, affluent area. I also, like, my family was from the wrong side of the tracks, but my dad worked a lot, so he put us in a nice area. But there was something that I never felt I was up to snuff with my peers. So I always dated women who had great families and doctors and lawyers for parents, or business owners, and to give me credibility, right, that I wasn't the cut off sleeve, my dad, whatever, right? So it was kind of weird. And once you get over it, like right now, I don't care. Like, I don't ask, or it wouldn't bother me. If the girl I was dating, the one question is, hey, I'm going to get up and go make some money. I'm going to go do whatever, and then I'm going to come home. So, hey, how was your day? I don't care if she was bi and she messed with girls during the day. Like her and Amy are really a little bit better friends. I don't care. As long as when I go to grab my, my drink of Kool-Aid, it's not empty, right?
Yeah.
I don't care, because I also believe unconditional love is a totally different thing. It's unconditional love, and people say they love somebody, but they have conditions, right?
Right.
And then they use, I love that girl more than anything. I love her unconditionally, whatever. But there was a friend of mine, and his girl was still dancing, and he didn't like his girl dancing. And he thought by, she comes from, used to making $2,000 a week, $3,000 a week. Then, but our love is going to do whatever. He's only making a certain amount of money, didn't want her to do.
Right.
And then they fought and battled, and then they broke up, and then would boo-hoo and, cry and whatever. And then, would just such, like, pressure put on that she'd stop. Well, what it was, she'd work for a week or two, make a bunch of money, tied her over for love. And then it kept going back. And I remember having the conversation with my friend, and I went, dude, you do understand, I answer your call when you call. And I listen to this crap, but you're wrong. And he was like, what? What do you mean? I love her. I love her more than anything. I'd do anything for her. And I go, if her need is to do this, and that's what she needs to do, you need to be able to love her, or don't say that you love her unconditionally, right? You have love with conditions.
He has a cookie cutter love, right? He has
which most people do. If you don't get deep enough into your head, or even study the thought process of loving something unconditionally, right? Then, you've got a condition. So for me, it's funny because I really don't care. And it's not even love. It's just dating. If I like you unconditionally, right? There's not much you can do to make me stop liking you, especially if you're a chick that I'm dating. I don't care, because and this is an analogy I used. Like, if right now I was on the phone or right now we're doing this, and, at 10:30, my girlfriend was out doing something and she cheated on me, I wouldn't know about it, right? It's 10:30. I'm sitting here talking to you. I'm going, haha, your hair stuff's starting to fail on you. Your hair's getting kind of crazy, right? And that was my thought exactly at 10:30 p.m. Meanwhile, she might be airtight at a party. Yeah, I don't know, right? That could be happening. It only would bother you. So her having sex with someone isn't actually affecting me, right? Because it happened. I'm here. I don't know about it. It's the act of knowing. When you learn of something, when you learn of it, that's when your emotions begin to play through.
But that's like, that says something about also like your judgment of character as well, because obviously, like, okay, if I do something that makes me guilty, I am not going to act normal after that. Like, it's going to consume me. I'm going to act different one way or another. I'm going to either stop having sex with them, or I'm going to stop, like, talking to them all the time like I used to. Like, there's going to be something that's going to be off, and the other person's going to know.
Yeah, the next day when you see the person. But if you're apart, there's nothing like...
Oh, yeah, like when you're
there's
not
zero.
in
You don't know
contact with
any...
each other.
Unless you're psychic. And if you're psychic, then you
Good
need
for
to... Yeah, then...
like,
But when you learn of it, yes, then everything changes, right? And then it's... Well, and the main thing is ego. Like, oh, what is she? Every girlfriend that you've ever had that's been cheated on, what does she have that I don't have? Or what does he have? Does he have a bigger, penis? Does he have more money? Like, I've got four friends that are going through relationships. Yes, to all those, right? There's also
questions.
He has a smaller penis and less money. I just didn't like you as a person, right? Like, balls, And dude, one thing I do love is any of my friends who are self-touted to be, BD McGee, Big Dick McGee, they've got, dude, I'm hung like a baby donkey and whatever and all this, right?
like a baby donkey.
Easily shattered egos.
And what the funny thing is, they believe that the world lives and ends at the tip of their pee-pee, right? And when a girl breaks up with them, dude, they're distraught. And of course, I'm not a very caring individual. I went, that big old penis didn't do anything for you in this scenario, did it?
Like, I am God with my member. I create universes.
Exactly.
Every drop of seed is a galaxy, and you are blessed.
Maybe you should have watched a couple more chick flicks and been a bit more conversational, and maybe she'd still be around, huh? Maybe she cheated with me because you wanted somebody to talk to after the sex, right? Yeah. But your penis was going to be the answer to all, world problems. No, not the case.
He is too busy. Such a big member. He had to go groom it. He had to go moisturize it. There's a lot of care.
There's a lot of upkeep.
There's a lot of care in a 12-incher.
There really is.
Yeah.
Have you ever dated somebody
with a huge penis? No.
No. Well,
nope.
yeah. Have you?
No, not here.
No,
of course.
I have dated people.
Have you ever dated somebody that is so into themselves?
Yes.
Like, just everything
No,
about them. They
don't
were
have
just-
time for that.
They woke up in the morning and was like, yes.
Don't have time for that.
Don't have time for that.
I've had
Don't.
sex with people like that,
High maintenance. Hell
and
no.
I was just counting down the, like,
hours.
yeah, I was
How
like,
many
yeah,
more
this.
strokes can I get in before I blow my brains out listening to you talk about
Oh,
yourself?
for sure. It's a real thing, and I have, and dude, it's cool. I like pretty things, and I like the fact that you appreciate yourself being
Right,
extremely
yeah.
pretty. But after a while, it's just like, boy, you're a load, and
There's a difference between confidence and being completely conceited.
Well, don't you have any
Agreed.
other thoughts going through your mind aside
Yeah.
from what is going on inside of yourself? Don't you think about anything else happening in the world? There's a whole world out there. You know, it's not all just your bits and your boobs. It's
Are you sure?
But then again, if you're doing the Taco Bell of sex, right, and you know, like, dude, I've got like a busy year, like you're still in school, or you've got a business thing going, or you've got something going where you're putting it like, this is my person, and I'm dating them and whatever. But yeah, this isn't gonna last. Like, dude, normally relationships, how many have you bet in? They don't last forever, right? There's that one we're all waiting for, that super fairy tale that obviously Matt is like lassoed that that dragon, and he seems to have it now or whatever.
He tangled the unicorn into his
That's right.
into his basement.
But most of the relationships don't work. So if you go in, and I had the argument with a lady friend of mine, the same blonde lady who comes in, we have this conversation forever, that she's like, well, no, this next, everyone she gets in, she's like, she puts all hopes and dreams in like the hope chest from like the 1950s movies and stuff. Like,
of course,
every relationship she gets into becomes like the hope chest relationship.
And I was like the fantasy fairy tale Disney movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
everything.
It's what you've always dreamed of, but it's never everything,
It's
right?
just what you want. And
Are you guys roommates?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. We're looking for a place.
Are you guys friends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys both single?
Ish.
Technically,
Ish.
technically,
Do you guys bang it out
No, we don't.
ever?
No.
Nope.
Never.
No.
No.
Ever?
No.
No.
All right. I was just wondering. I was just with roommates with benefits. I was just wondering.
Oh no.
Yeah, come home and friends with benefits, and it's a Justin Timberlake movie. How weird can it be? You guys start reaching at the popcorn at the same time.
Just not to pry. Just
If
I was
we-
just
I'm
wondering.
just like one of the dudes with boobs.
If we both probably weren't hopeless romantics and chasing after love stories all the time, it would maybe
this
would
is
work.
exactly how every romantic comedy or whatever begins.
Oh yeah, you guys will be in love with each other by probably
Get out the
December.
singing birds.
Oh, well. Sorry, Jordan. The unicorn wrangler spoke, and
That's
now,
right. My words are
together.
magic.
he's like, you guys are gonna. This is gonna happen, right?
Well,
You're starting.
I
to
mean,
scare
really.
me.
I mean, it's happened. I mean, it's.
when
scripted.
Harry Met Sally.
It's
You watch
scripted that
movie.
way.
It's like
I know,
400
I have.
years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be
Isn't that
prepared.
with Nicolas Cage?
The
best part
Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan.
The best part, they're gonna go home and they're gonna
I'm
like
thinking of this
sleep in
one.
different beds and they're gonna think about it now that I just brought up and like, it wouldn't be that bad.
Well, now it does.
We do like we do know each other's secrets and situations.
That's what's keeping us away from each other is the secrets.
Oh yeah.
That's not
Too many.
putting us
Sorry.
together.
Well, I mean,
You're opening Pandora's box here,
Oh, for
man.
sure. It's the
yeah, no, he can
podcast.
only take it. He was like, "There's a pretty chick in the room. He's only going to be cool for." Dude, the fact that he made it as long as he did is baffling to me.
I've
Like,
been so
so
good.
one bathroom or two? What kind of?
Yeah, that's actually that's the most important topic of the place we're looking
yeah.
for is how many bathrooms
Yep.
they have.
So far.
Well, if you get a
there's
house, I'll
only
build
one.
you the other one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you a contractor?
Remodeling, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, we can keep that in mind, but we're
Buy his cheap house and we'll flip it.
There you go. He told me to buy a house so I could rent it to him. I was like, no.
I don't got.
I got this van down by the river.
I was like, dude, I'd be more than happy to have you as my neighbor, right? I literally posted today and went, hey, who wants to be my neighbor?
Come on.
Right?
why
Yeah,
not?
you told me you was like go buy this house and
No.
I'm not at that.
We get a
shop.
house near yours, or what are you?
I'm
What
not-
are you doing over there? What are you peddling?
Corner house. It's cool. It's a big house. They're like the colonial farmhouses or whatever.
over there.
Mhm. Well, you haven't been to my house. So over there could be just about anywhere.
Is it near the old place or near?
You haven't been to my old place
apartment?
either. Apartment.
It's that way.
Where's it at?
I live right in downtown.
Crossroads.
Right in downtown Wayne, Elizabeth and Michigan Avenue.
That's what I say. Is it by AP's old loft?
Oh, it is by the loft.
Yeah,
It's
that's
two
what I'm trying to
streets.
say. That's what I'm
Two
trying to say.
streets away from the loft.
Doesn't John? Doesn't he live over there?
Yeah,
Off that
everybody
one
lives
street?
there.
Right.
Everyone lives in the neighborhood.
Is this a music video?
Yep.
Oh,
It was your girl stuff that was playing for forever. But you'll have to come by the house one of these days.
Sure.
Okay, so on to the next one: jealousy and temptation.
12.
What's that?
No, go ahead. Keep talking.
She was
I was
veering
looking-
off of the Danielle Bregoli or whatever her name is.
Ew.
Oh my God,
She's
it's
so ugly.
It's the Catch Me Outside. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
a rapper now of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
no,
is it?
she is. She is.
Who is that?
That's
That's the
She's like,
Catch Me
I think-
Outside girl.
yeah.
Maybe 15.
Sorry. What?
Yeah, check
What's
her
that?
out. I know.
She was on what
I
was
know,
it?
that's what I'm saying.
Dr. Phil, I believe, and she was talking back to him. She goes, "Catch me outside. How about
Yeah.
that?" And like every young person in the world lost their mind.
I have no idea.
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
Talk
dude! I
She
played
was
it
like
every day, like all the
13.
songs and the remixes, dude. It was the happiest. People hated me. It was
Yeah.
like when I wore the man bun, and people were like, "Cut your hair," and I was like, "No, I did this just to annoy you."
And she's so
That girl can't even
pretty.
legally drive yet.
Who's pretty?
She
She is, but
Where?
she's
No.
so young.
Where?
But
She's
I,
not-
Where?
I feel so weird saying
The horse
that.
is better looking than her.
look
Wow.
at. They purposely have the horse towing the Porsche because
Yeah,
she doesn't
see,
even.
go figure. The
okay,
horse
are
is
you-
more
come
important.
on,
Are you
come
serious?
She can't even legally drive on
Did you hit
the
your
state
head?
roads.
Yeah, she's 13 or probably just turned 14.
What?
She was 13 when all that stuff was happening.
Yeah.
Wow, I never
Yeah.
even seen her.
But
She got
cash in.
arrested and put in jail. She got like 3 grand theft auto charges.
Yeah,
There
no,
you
the
go.
little
She's-
chick is
she's
completely
wild.
crazy.
That's really good.
Well, you don't even
That's
know.
really
You can't
good.
even talk about it because you
Good.
you didn't even buy into the pop culture knowledge
good,
of it.
good contributor to society. Her.
Yeah,
Good for
and she's
you.
got more money than you.
I
So
don't care. She's uglier than me.
That's true.
Oh, sorry. See, thank you.
you guys kind of look
Thank you.
alike.
Yeah.
If we put a
Oh.
ponytail weave on
Hey,
you, we can
hey,
make
You know
ginger
what?
snap, relax.
I'm saying the eyes. I see a similarity.
You know what? I do see it.
Hold on, let me dye my hair. Wait a minute, I don't have any.
We could figure something out. There's wigs.
There is. Well, you know what? Let's stay on the since Matt did open Pandora's box with the haha. Wait till we see you guys in a couple years. But no, even if it did, it would end horribly because it always does.
Yeah. That's
Necessarily. Look at the Notebook.
It's a movie.
Oh yeah, what? They both died at the end.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's gonna lose her mind, and he's gonna fucking freak out.
Yeah. No, it's
He's gonna forget.
my mind.
okay. So has anyone done? And I'm gonna start because you guys have manipulated everything with Matt's Pandora's box, damn it, and the Catch Me Outside girl jumped in. She's always ruining things. The
her
messing
face.
with girlfriend thing, like having a chick friend, like for us, obviously, it could be for you too, maybe like the ladies, I don't know. But when you like having a chick friend and like having it turn right, like guys generally, and I'm going to give him the pass or whatever. But he did do his hair when he brought you in or whatever, so I'm just going to say there's like 14% leaning that way.
I got a
Just the
haircut today,
beginning.
Jake. That's not.
Okay.
It's an anomaly.
Just the beginning.
Yep.
She
I'm just saying.
was actually she had other plans for the night. She wasn't even supposed to be here.
No, that's
Okay.
no, that is, it was a great addition.
Yeah.
He literally forced me to go.
Yeah.
Gunpoint. I robbed her.
Ike Turner over here, right?
Yeah.
Just get in the car, woman.
Yeah. You do as I say, Jordan.
But the whole like having a chick friend, like guys, every guy has been the guy friend where you're friends with a chick, but you like her because
Right.
we find it hard to actually like chicks. Normally, we just go, you look neat, right? Like you're awesome looking, and when you're friends with a chick, I've had the ability to be friends with many, but the chicks that I'm friends with and I'm actually friends with, I do not want to have sex with you, right? Like it's just not that you're repulsive or whatever, but I know you and we've gotten too close. There's like a weird, like I know too much about you, we're close. This will end horribly wrong. You will hate me. I kind of like you as a person, right? That's why I'm friends with you, so I won't do it. Then there's that other side of being friends with a girl that you're cool with, but you're just like, oh my God, all powers in life, power of Grayskull, can I please be with her? Like, she is the perfect person. You're super nice and you always do nice stuff for her and whatever, which is generally lead-in, because we're not that nice to our friends. We're cool with our friends, but not super nice with our friends.
Well, you can just ask Jordan the things that I say to her on a daily. I'm nice to her, but I'm also.
He just told me yesterday that I was a piece of crap.
I said I also I also said something nice to go with it.
But you're the best piece of crap that you've seen in a long time.
Yeah,
God damn it, do you look good?
You're the prettiest.
Nice.
You're the prettiest turd I've ever seen, Jordan.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I have that line. If I'm friends with a chick, because I was friends with a chick for long, but I started out liking her. Like, I couldn't even talk to her. We worked together, and she walked by, and I was like, oh my God, who is that? Like, I would just do the creepy, like, we worked with like 1,500, 2,000 people, right? So there were always people, but I identified that as, oh my God. And she was married and had a kid. And then the dude kept knocking her up and she kept having kids. And then that made it easy, because even if I wanted to be with you, you got like 4 kids.
Yes.
That thing can't be in functional working order. If I messed it up, if it was my fault, if it was my fault and I messed up that area.
Is this the girl that you liked a lot, that was like pretty, that was your friend, but
well, no, we weren't friends at the time. It was just
Okay.
she worked in an area around me, so I
Right.
would see her in passing, and she was friends with a chick that I was kind of cool with.
Right.
But her, for whatever reason, just from like, physical nature, I was like, and of course in my mind I'm painting pictures that she's a really nice person, and
Yeah.
she ended
and
up
then
being.
you got to know her, and then you're like,
you're in a
kids.
daydream relationship with her at this point.
Yeah,
Okay,
because I
yeah.
didn't know her. Then years later, ironically, we end up working together, and I'm not like even remotely not remotely attracted. She's still attractive or whatever, but it wasn't the 4 years early like gaga, like, oh my God, you're amazing attractive.
Right.
So we got to be really good friends, and then she was attracted to me, and I went, no, where were you for? And I told her flat out, I was like, dude, maybe 5 years ago, before the other 2 kids or whatever. Not that you don't look good, and you're not,
And your
look.
stuff's not ruined.
Okay, there was maybe a thought in the back of the head about ruin. But the thing was, she tricked me into being friends with her, right? So we were friends, and there were plenty of opportunities, and she like, hey, come on,
How
and I was
a trick? What'd she do?
hey, we're hanging out and whatever, and I'm like, cool. We'd all work together, so we would go
Right,
hang out
okay.
places, and then it was, hey, well, I'm gonna crash at your house. And I was like, okay,
Oh.
cool. But I was like, no, I know well, you can crash up here and we'll just sleep, and then the rollover and shenanigans. Yeah. And I was like, dude, I don't have that many girlfriends, because I'm pretty, like, if I like a chick or whatever, I will either, and I'm not super forward, I'll be cool, but it'll get to a point to where I'll either decide, like, I'm going to get to know you as a person and like you, or at some point while having drinks, I will let all the horrible things out of my mouth and try and mess with you. And then if no, and it's never going to happen or whatever, then cool, I can go about being friends with you. But if there's that, like, I'd really like to pet you,
Pet you?
then yeah,
it's not really petting.
yeah. But along those lines. But I'm good at dividing the two. But I have been on both sides of the thing.
What was the topic of this
It
subject?
wasn't. We're just staying on.
What's going on?
It's you two being
We're petting
guy and chick
people,
friend. Well, have you ever had a chick friend? Have you, number one, okay, quick question. This is round table.
Okay.
Quick table, or quick question.
table.
Quick something.
Yeah, quick.
Nestle's quick.
I love lamp.
Squirrel.
So have you ever been in the position where you were friends with a chick and you really liked her, but you were friends and you were like, oh, I kind of want more or whatever? Have you been Nick the guy friend?
Yeah, all the time. But I learned how to.
All the time.
I learned how to get out of those situations by either not getting in them or
Pulling your pants down.
pulling my pants
Naked
down.
man. That's
Yeah.
That's
thing.
a sure way to know that they're going to run or stay.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Okay, so you
pull-
have been.
Well, so I don't know. I got to a certain point where it was like, okay, when I get in these situations, it sucks because I just keep everything inside. I don't really voice it. So I got pretty good at just voicing it, and I can't lie. Half of it was thanks to Mr. Booze. right?
Sure.
You get comfortable.
Why do you think I said when I'm going to have a few drinks and let all this stuff fly out?
Exactly. So I got good at least at some point, I would just talk about it. And it was always an open conversation like, hey, blah, 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 like you, blah, 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 feelings. And we would just talk about it. And if it was mutual, great. At that point, you can get over that fence. And if it's going to be something that works out, then awesome. Then you just, progressed towards what you wanted. And if it doesn't, then you know that, okay, maybe I shouldn't even be friends with you in the first place. So I just kind of burned bridges of things that are going to bug me in the first place, so I don't have to, deal with the emotional repercussions of those things.
And for me, it's either, cool, we're going to have sex. No, then I can be friends with you because I'm friends with him. Never wanted to have sex with him. Made our friendship very, very easy. Okay, a couple times after a few drinks.
Well, I'm a weird breed. It's not always about sex for me. I get feelings, intertwined, hopeless romanticism. So it's not always just I just want to bang you. It's feelings and
well, no, but
love.
You can't deny if you're sexually attracted to someone.
Yeah.
I'm not attracted to Matt.
Are you sure?
Damn handsome man.
You keep bringing it up a lot. Has he ever made moves on you, Matt?
That's another story.
That's a whole podcast. No, but you know what I mean with your guy friends, and when you look at friends from a puritanical standpoint, never wanted to bang any of my friends.
Yeah,
they're cool to go to the bar with, or maybe go to a sporting event with, and whatever. But I've never wanted to.
Who's in charge of the friend zone?
How do you mean?
Who's in? Because there's two ways. It's if you're like the principal guy and you have a girl that's not your friend, or the whole friend zone thing, or is she the one that's going to say yes we're friends or yes no, or is it who's in charge of the friend zone?
Whoever has the balls to say. I mean, she could be completely clueless and you dig her, and then you have too many drinks one night and you go, bro, what are we doing, man? Blah 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 blah. And then she's like, no, and
mean,
pats
man?
you on the head and goes, no.
There's probably 2% me in the friend zone, and then the rest is on her. I've been in the friend zone, stuck in that friend zone so many times.
Well, that's what
talking I've changed my ways of getting out of the friend zone.
Well, that's where talking about it comes into the play. You have to.
No, but I just want to know who's in charge of the friend zone. Is she the one? I mean, is she?
It's a fugazi. No, it doesn't.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not even really real. It's just you being too
it could
afraid.
be like.
It
could go both ways though.
Yeah.
She could be totally into you and you're not into her, but you want to be friends, or you could totally be into her and she's not into you.
Well, here's the thing. If
so
you've
which
already,
one is? So I was just wondering where the.
Or she knows.
If you've already
and
established
she doesn't care
the interest, and she said no, we're just staying friends, and then there's the friend zone.
and you're still in love with her.
Yeah, but if you think you're flirting and making moves and she's not reciprocating, then that's all on you. You're not being friend zoned by her. That's not her responsibility. That's you being
trying to.
That's you not having the communication
let's
skills. Then there's the friend zone. That's how. That's when you get friend
well,
zone.
there's sometimes I've had several where it's unknown.
Yeah.
But unknown to you, but you don't know what she said unless you've asked the question.
Exactly.
Again, communication, people.
Right.
Yeah.
If you say the words.
Well, remember, hey, Tiger, I was like 16.
Okay.
15.
You didn't preface that you were 16.
It wasn't like last week.
Okay. It could have been. I don't know. That's why you gotta.
I was like 17, 18.
Okay.
Too many friend zones.
Okay. Enough with you two. What about you?
What?
Oh man. Okay, so
Let the pretty person talk for a minute.
I just did.
I have a
kidding.
couple guy friends that I've been best friends with for 7 years, and I definitely friend zoned. I friend zoned them. Did you
Why?
hear what I said last time?
Why?
Cause
Is he cute?
It's really hard to explain.
Is
so
he cute?
we tried, I tried dating my friend Nick, not this Nick, a different Nick. Kind of like, oh God.
Point
I
two.
I feel could have just used a different
Point
name
right
for
now.
like. You could have.
I feel like
used
I need to be a
different
court
name.
stenographer and be like, okay, I'm building a case on this.
You're giving these guys way too much here. This is
Nicely
way
done.
too much
It
playground
was
time.
it was like back in high school, and like we were really cool with each other, and I was like, okay, like he's really funny, he's cool, like so. But then I just initially wasn't really super attracted to him. And
Why?
then I don't know, he wasn't ambitious.
Was he cute?
enough. Yeah, he was really
Was he
cute.
funny?
Yeah. He was really funny.
What? Don't do that. Don't.
What?
Why is she looking? She's going.
She's like, yes.
Yeah.
She said,
He was
yes.
funny.
No, I didn't.
Wow. I'm telling you, there it is.
I hate you guys.
There it is. I'm sorry, Pandora.
I hate you guys.
No, but I don't know. I just so we just kind of fell off. But honestly,
Well, there had to be a reason
there's
why.
still
well, no, there's magic stardust.
from him.
Sometimes, even though somebody's pretty and attractive, whatever, you don't want to be with them. I mean, it
All the
isn't
time.
just because, or they just may not be your type exactly. Like, you really like 5'3" and 105 pounds. And
But in high school, at that point, you're just
you didn't have a type way back then?
I had a type.
yeah.
Yeah, you always got a type. I mean, not everyone that you meet that's attractive or would find you attractive, or that you know what I mean? There's
Sure.
there's
I guess
some,
you're right.
you know, because then there's some people you dig that aren't really anyone else's cup of tea, but they're attractive to you, and you dig them or you like them or whatever. So there's a whole, and I like to leave it up to the magic, pixie dust.
Yeah.
That sometimes you don't know why you like somebody or why you're digging them or whatever, and be like, dude, it just kind of happens. So
I just I think my thing is I don't want to lose my two best friends ever. We've been best friends for 7 years, and yeah, we were just young and stupid back then, but even progressing 4 or 5 years later, the feelings were still there from him. And so I couldn't give him everything that he wanted back from me, but we're still really good friends,
which was probably a good choice,
Yeah.
because it doesn't matter. Even if you're friends with someone, you start a relationship, you do whatever, and it ends, you take away the sex or whatever, somebody's going to be butthurt, no pun intended. You're just, nah, we were that good of friends that we used to bump uglies and do whatever, but now we're not nearly as good of friends, which, most of them don't last. Ironically, you can have a relationship where you weren't really friends with people, and you could be friends with them afterwards.
Yeah.
But if you start out as friends, it seems to take a weird wiggle.
No one wants to be dropped down a peg. No one wants to be okay, this is exactly what I want, and then they get kicked off, and they're like, no, you're down there on the floor. You're not sleeping on the bed, you're sleeping on the floor. And you're like, well, that was really cool a month ago. What is this? And then you have this weird thing where now you have to cope with the fact that you just got
it's being demoted. Yeah, you're being demoted. You go from a position at work, and then and now you're not. And even though you've been in charge before, now you're not in charge.
But you still want your paycheck. You still want to clock in and get your paycheck, so you stay.
All right, and here's the thing, Maddie. You said you've developed a way to get out of the friend zone. I did something, because it's just like anything, right? Looking at things that used to work 5-10 years ago, and you look at things now, media's changed, news outlets have changed, everything is changing. So what I did, and I'm not an extremely attractive guy, right? It's not like I'm Enrique Iglesias. I walk in.
It's the same thing, right? I did.
So I did this reverse. I put myself intentionally in the friend zone with 7 girls at the same time, right? Betting on the law of averages that I'm going to, because every girl, if I work with somebody long enough, you're funny and you're always in a good mood and this, and this, and somehow I grow on them. I'm like mold
Fungus.
or spores or something.
Mold.
And I've somehow weaseled the ability to date extremely far out of my league. Granted, I can't do it every Friday, right? But I've got to, it takes me, it's a progression thing. So at a place that I used to work that happens to be staffed by majority female waitresses, bartenders, and, other, females, that I was just friends with everybody. I didn't ask for the number too quick, right? It was cool and whatever, because, and it wasn't, this theory didn't come out of nowhere for me. It came from every time I overheard them talking, hey, blah, 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 because I'm friends with them, right? We just hang out and we're friends and we're drinking. I overhear hey, what about that, that Tim guy? Did you talk to Tim? And, have you gone out with him yet? I don't know. I don't feel that comfortable around him yet. I don't feel that comfortable. It wasn't I don't know him well enough, but I don't feel comfortable. And then when the comfortable level hit an optimal level,
Yeah.
boom, then something would happen. So I went, okay, Jake, let's make them extremely comfortable around you by not doing normal guy stuff, by jumping off sides, by asking for the number too quick, by trying to take them on a date. It was, again, the same way I would start any other relationship, which is, hey, what are you doing? You want to, or we just go out and have drinks and we have a good time and we high five. and that's it.
It literally works so good. I am more likely to go up to you and give you my number if you do not flirt with me, if you do not act like a total dude to me like that, like if you do not like grope me and like try to romance me or try to take me out on a date. I will literally come to you. If you just act like my friend, I will literally just gravitate towards you.
Thank you, Magic Computer Box. All the things I had to read. Victory. And the weird part of just listening, right? If you listen, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Jordan, I don't care about you.
Oh my God. Be with me right now.
Do you want to date? Do you want to date?
You can't ask that question. You gotta let her out. If you wanna date.
Yeah, whatever.
Just say, hey, I'm actually available.
Don't
next
call me.
Just
Don't
ignore
call
me.
me.
Hey,
Just don't call me.
week. Jake, I'm available next week.
Yeah.
But I'm really telling Jordan I'm available next week.
That's right. You're just putting it out there that you're available.
Or were you just really asking Jake to go out with him?
Now here's where it all goes wrong.
No. Me and Jake are,
Dude, how long have we sat in here and talked for, like, if one of us was a female, we would be, like, it would be Harry Met Sally, dude. We've been hanging out in here for approximately a year, right? Come in,
Yeah, sure.
get a juice, whatever. We have random conversations, whatever the conversation topic may be, before microphones existed.
So what are you saying exactly? You're saying
Absolutely nothing.
If I had,
I said if you were a chick, it would be Harry Met Sally, like,
I would be the one if
you
I
would
had
be the
boobs.
one.
Wow.
You would.
I'm not
Dude, the
saying
hair
that.
did a little something for me earlier. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. You're
Yeah.
getting a little excited.
You think he tingled?
But it was like on behalf of
This
Jordan.
is who else I hang out with, and he's got no hair, so it was just the pendulum
Right,
swing.
so
That's all it was.
Shock.
It was.
So what's your out of friend zone? What's your technique there?
There was several ways. You can be the non-caring, don't be the dick, don't be fun, don't be yourself, I guess. Because I was seriously, hold on, time out. I would always be the funny guy. I would always make everybody laugh, joke. Oh my God, open that ear and them to dump on and stuff. So generally that would get you in the friend zone, and you could never get out once you're tagged as, oh, he's a good listener, and he's a nice guy.
No.
And so you just kind of you gotta weasel your way out of that situation. So
But
just
how
learn-
you what like?
Yeah. So where did you?
Now here's what if I think with Matt, where he would do the Matt and the I'm nice and I'm Matt and then what you have to do is just like the Jeff Sessions thing today, you have to throw them a curveball.
Yeah.
Because when they're not looking for it, it's kind of like a sucker punch because you're nice and friendly. And here's one thing:
gotta
if
catch 'em
women
off guard, I
if
guess.
women have to think quick and in a hurry, right? If they have to make a decision, if you go like nothing, and once you feel that the opening, it's a whole lot like running the ball a bunch and then play action,
yeah.
right? Then you pretend to hand off the ball and you throw a pass and you score a touchdown, right? I hate to use a football analogy with the ladies, but touchdown, right? So with doing so, when you're nice guy, what I did is I waited for it to just happen organically, and I was dealing with multiple women, and it was one place with 3 or 4 waitresses, a shot girl, and like 2 bartenders, right? So I was cool with all of them, right? And because I said at this point, I'm busy, I'm doing whatever, really doesn't matter who I date or who I hang out with, just cool. Something, I wasn't trying to make it last.
If you just kept yourself busy and basically, you establish that friend zone, and then this is how I did. You made them laugh. You made them think, man, that dude's funny as shit. He's like ball funny. Then you would just stop and then not, like, I don't want to say be there and ignore them.
Oh, you did that one, yeah.
You kind of just you throw them the taste. Get a little
Of
throw
how
the-
fun and nice
and
you
then,
are.
and then back it off a little,
And then
Back
go,
it off.
where's all that fun? And I kind of miss him. It's the Lucy and Charlie Brown with the football.
That's
and then
a-
take the football away.
Yeah.
So that's a good move, but it's kind of dastardly. But
It's
it
like training
works.
a dog. You give them a treat, and then you stop giving them treats, and they still do the trick.
That's right.
But where's the treat?
But now with girl now, it was just straight, like, first day was just like, hey, I like you a lot. You like me a lot. Yeah, cool. We're great. So it wasn't like I'm not going to sit at the phone and watch the wait. Is my phone? Does it work? Or I'm waiting 3 days to make a phone call. Fuck all that.
That's another reestablishing the whole just communication
For
from
sure.
the get go, right? If there's no communication, there's no.
But there was no
relationship.
games involved either.
Right.
We said straight out in the beginning, we're not playing games. if you like me, you want to be with me, you're gonna do it, and let's talk about it. We're not gonna play, do you like me, yes or no, and pass her the note, or I'm not gonna call her in 5 days because that's just what you
But
do.
not everyone is so analog like that. That's the problem.
But I was lucky then.
And now, and especially, dating younger, dude, it is a whole different. So this was kind of a dating / sociological experiment, because I did this on purpose, just because I went, you know what, I'm going to have a great spring and summer. And if you listen to some of the earlier Bachelor Pad stuff where I literally outline the slow play, then I was #slow play. The slow play worked so epically that I dated and hung out, and everyone was cool. It was high fives because we were friends. And it was at a place where it was a bar, so there was always drinking involved. And then when it did happen, and like one domino fell, another domino fell, and whatever, and I would have been happy, dude. I couldn't have been friends or in like better company than the like 7 people that 7 or 8 girls that I was friends with, that we ended up like just, hey, random Tuesday, I'd get a text. I wasn't texting first. I wasn't doing whatever. And then once the dominoes fell, cool. And it didn't get weird, and there was nothing crazy about it. And cool, you want to hang out? Yeah, we'd go hang out. If they were like, all right, cool, I got stuff to do. All right, cool, high five. Another night, hey, I'm just going to crash here. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm, putting dishes away. I walk in my room and she's naked in bed. And I was like, okay, cool. Right. So it was so weird. And
so you just kept doing dishes?
No, I went and I brought the spatula into bed.
He had to bring the wax out.
The friend thing worked, the whole funny, and when I was bouncing at the bars. I mean, how many, you get 10 chicks working so you would definitely make yourself present to be, the whole, and all of them.
The good thing about the funny, like being funny and getting into the friend zone, by putting yourself intentionally in the friend zone, it's like going into the octagon, right? You're going to, there's going to be a fight,
for
right?
Sure. Yeah.
So it's going to come to a head eventually. But if you can ask them out and still be funny, because funny and like even in asking like, hey, you know what? This is, blah, blah, so what's up? Get really serious and be like, man, I really think we should go out. And it's been a long time, and I see the way that you look at me and whatever. What? You grab her hand and start like petting her hand, and she does whatever, and then you pull back and be like, girl, you got to be out your mind, man, right? And then making it funny and whatever, right? So
in the off chance that maybe that
throw it out
too.
there. It's in the back of her. You put a little spark in the back of her head,
and then make it a reoccurring joke and whatever. And then there's other ways to be super nice and funny. Once you've identified yourself as super nice and funny, then you throw a little curveball and then joke and ha 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 after a few too many drinks. And hey, why don't we go out sometime? There's something about imprinting things on a girl's brain, just like the body language stuff that we went over. Right. There's another psychological thing.
Well, there's also a whole like.
I still don't like you, Jordan.
I'm slowly gravitating.
That's what happens.
There's also something very interesting that happens when you put yourself in the friend zone. They start asking questions. Why is he not making moves? Why did he put himself in the friend zone?
What did I do wrong?
Yeah. So
is
why
he not attracted to me?
Why,
What's going on?
Yeah.
Am
why
I
is
not
this
fresh?
guy so cool with everything, and he's not being weird, and he's not grabbing me, and so am I not attractive? And then she starts thinking about it and putting herself in the situation, and she's like, well, okay, maybe there's more to this guy. And then women tend to like the things. Actually, people tend to go after the things that they can't have in general, right? It's just this weird attraction to things that you can't have, like why people play the lottery over and over again. They just have a fantasy of something that they can't have, and they get it, right? So there's
kind of like Matt over here.
Yeah.
I literally went on the best date of my life.
With a dick.
Yes.
See?
It was great.
See,
it was great. Like,
See,
he didn't touch me. He didn't even kiss me at the end of our date. He didn't try to make any moves. He was respectful. We just went to the movies. We were just laughing and talking. And then he drove me home, and he didn't try to do anything whatsoever. Didn't even ask me on a second date. And then
he's gay.
He just texted me a week later. It was like, hey, like, let's hang out again. Like, it was great.
I do this all the time, and it almost always works out, because if you do something and you establish yourself as too aggressive or creepy, then it's game over. You're never getting a call or a text again.
All depends.
No, and it's weird, and sometimes you pick up the body language cues. If you could or couldn't. We were talking. we were talking the other day about I want you to trick me into liking you, right? Because if not, I mean, like, look, I'm a dude. If you went, hey, you want to come in for a minute, and cool, and next thing you know, stuff happened, what am I going to do? Go, no, I really respect you, whatever. Of course I'm going to do it, right?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, seriously, I'm going to probably go home and, masturbate viciously on the thought of, oh my God, she kind of agreed to a second date. I think she'll say yes. Cool. Imagine how good this will be in about 3 weeks when we finally do. Like,
there's the hypothetical imaginary relationship
Exactly.
panning out in every person's head every time they go on a first date. It's like, oh, this is going to be so cool in like 4 weeks if this just keeps going as planned.
Yeah. And like I had that thing of making them jump off sides. Like I would do things like with body language and all this stuff to make them jump off sides. So they would end up making the first move, or she would grab me and kiss me, or, ask me like, hey, let's go out on a date. And then we ended up like, it was the first date. We had hung out like 2 or 3 times with other people, went on a date, and she grabbed me and kissed me and did whatever. And then when she, is arguing with me, like, a couple months later, like, you're the one who did it. And I was like, oh, no, sister. That was all you.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Well, but you made it pretty evident. And I went, who leaned across the table and kissed who?
Well, that's the thing.
I just happened to say I was a pretty darn good kisser. That was all on you.
With body language and eye contact and those key words, you don't have to make any moves to get them to make the move. You just, like, it's almost like Inception. You plant the thing in their head where they're
Position
like,
yourself.
Yep,
Yeah.
work smarter, not harder. It's like football. You could make all football playing analogies for dating and relationships about getting in the
Offsides,
right
roughing the
position,
passer,
doing a
tight end,
on
wide
that note.
receiver.
On that note, we do have stuff to do at some point in the in this day. But thank you everybody for coming out. This was the Jake Podcast, JakePodcast.com, Bachelor Pad Radio, and Matt still doesn't like the pretty lady.
Nope. Hate
Nope, not at all.
He hates
It's
her.
not happening. Okay, so again, thanks everyone for coming out. Good stuff. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I could go functionally date somebody like
Yeah.
at this point.
after talking to Jake every day, I start to analyze things a lot more.
Well, why not? The information's out there. To just stumble into stuff and go, oh, you're pretty. Hey, whatever. And she's like, dude, I've got a boyfriend
Pandora's
and a
box.
side boyfriend and whatever. Like,
Stop.
Pandora's box.
there it is.
And after
Pandora's
this, I'm
box.
really starting to like Matt over there. He's
Yeah,
looking
no,
real
it's
good.
it's a
I'm
thing.
out.
It's a
Yeah,
thing.
flip
I'm
your hair a
happily
little bit
married.
for me.
Peace out.
Yeah, there you
Okay.
go.
All right. And on that note, I'll check everybody out later.
Bye
Later.
bye.